Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin. I'm your host, Mike, and on our panel today we have, well, this says Jenny and Neil, but I'm thinking I might have used last week's script. So we've got Sarah, who's jumped in at the last minute and has just told me that she didn't really pay much attention to the match because she didn't know she'd be on the podcast, so that's going to be awesome. And we have Joe, who was doing commentary, so he didn't have much time to make notes on the podcast. So that's going to be awesome too. So we may well have a record here. Give me 1 second and I'm just going to get it sorted. We have obviously the draw at Eastleigh to talk about and all the other bits and pieces. Give me just half a second because that is just so irritating. It's just removed my agenda. So you wouldn't actually know I actually do follow some rules on this show. Honestly,
really? Wow.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
I didn't actually mean it when I said I didn't pay attention to the game, Mike. I did actually pay attention to the game because I'm a Sutton fan.
Hey, I had to say something. I was stalling, just definitely stalling and trying. Right, so this is the bit where I normally say about engagement, but I'd rather if people didn't engage with what just happened there, so we'll skip past it and not say that.
Engage, guys. I'm going to repost it. Everyone like it. We'll give it a massive plug. Listen to everything for the first
Yeah, this is the one you've got to listen to, everyone. It's really professional. Sarah, thanks for stepping in. Haven't seen you. I saw you for like a few minutes before altering a match, but I haven't seen you at all because obviously summer holidays. How have you been?
I've been very well, thank you, Mike. How about you?
Good. And we're getting ready for, I think it's one more week and then get them back at school. So,
we had young Lucy's birthday yesterday, which always means the dread of going back to school is almost upon us. Yeah, I was sitting there this morning as all the programs were coming on telly, and I'm like, I don't know what time I even have to leave for school now. I've confused everything, so we'll see how it goes. I might be late. And Joe with the comms on solo. That didn't rhyme as much as I'd written it down. Actually, that's. Yeah, never mind. How are you, Joe?
I'm very good, Mike.
Yeah,
it's been a very good summer.
It has
been a busy
been,
summer.
Yeah.
Obviously, joining the Sutton media team has been a wonderful thing, and met lots of people. So back on the podcast, back to where it all began with Mike at the Sutton Podcast,
where you graduated from. Can I come
exactly?
On
so no. You did. To be fair, you gave me. You got me in touch with the. I was in with last year, and now I'm on to.
We're moving on, Joe. I don't like these things, and Sarah will back that up. I don't like all this stuff. We are going to do the knowing me, knowing you question. Partly because I just want to press my little button again, but I did set you a question, and I'm interested in your answer, Sarah. See, you only had this yesterday, but let's go. Don't understand what the shake of the head for was, Joe. You don't think I can see these things and you think I'm going to let it go?
I hope you see these things.
So what odd place have you managed to talk with someone about Sutton United? Had a little conversation with Sarah yesterday, and you can interpret this question however you like. It's just, what odd place have you managed to talk with someone about Sutton United? So Joe, you go first.
I had two. And I was actually having a good think about this, but I'm going to go with probably the more interesting one. So over the winter, me and my family, because we have family there, went to New Zealand. And when I was in New Zealand, between the flights, there was a Air New Zealand flight attendant who saw my Sutton shirt, and he said in a very thick Kiwi accent, "Oh, isn't that a team in London?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, I'm a Wimbledon fan." So exactly. But he said, "You guys are pretty good." And this was days after we beat them away at their place, 1-0, when we didn't have a manager. Well, we had Jason, but we didn't have a manager. And I had a good chat with him about Wimbledon season, about Mob and Gilles, for about 5 minutes, because our plane was delayed, and he was just walking around offering small biscuits. And instead, I didn't actually get any biscuits in the end, which I was quite upset about. But I did get a 5-minute chat about Wimbledon and Sutton. So that is in the corner by the window at Queenstown Airport that's my kind of claim to fame in regards to conversation about Sutton.
Awesome. And Sarah, what was your decision?
Well, I've got to beat that now, haven't I?
You don't beat it. This is a collective.
In
our little conversation, I did point out that our ground is quite an odd place, but I didn't think that was very interesting. So I'm going to go with 19 kilometres into the Brighton Marathon, where I was, jogging along like you do, and I noticed a chap in front of me. He had a black T-shirt on with white writing on it, which it looked like someone had got some sort of white fabric paint or something, and he just got his mates to write random stuff all over his T-shirt. And at the top it said BWFC, and I thought, oh, that's a Bolton fan. Got a little bit closer, and so next to the W was a little OOD, and I was like, no way have I just met a Boreham Wood fan in Brighton. So I've run up behind him, and I've gone, is that Boreham Wood? And he's like, yeah, Boreham Wood, who else would be? I was like, yeah, someone's called you a Bolton fan already, haven't they? So I started, I told him, well, I'm a Sutton fan, and I've never forgiven you for that playoff game. Just overtook him, beat him. I must have beaten him by miles, because I never saw him again. I was at the finish line for ages. So, yeah, that's my one.
Lovely. Well, mine was not the one I went to recently, but a funeral in Ireland with someone from New York, and we started it off with bitching about Heathrow, and it's like, what's the point of having like gate 1 or 2, because no one's ever seen them, and it led on to various different things, and ended up talking about how great Sutton United was. This is way back when we'd like Ryman or Conference South, and he was digging out papers to have a look for them, and he's looking them up and all sorts. So I was like, we're at a funeral in Ireland talking about Sutton United to some random American that I did never know. I still don't know who he really was. I'm hoping he was part of the funeral party, or
he just turned up.
CIA, just making sure someone's dead, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, join in. Let us know what odd place you have managed to talk to someone about Sutton United. And yeah, interpret the question how you like. We will hear from them. I did have someone pick up on last week saying about how to get more supporters, and they sort of mentioned a lot of Hong Kong residents or origins in Sutton, and I did say, yeah, we do actually quite a lot of work with from Hong Kong as well. So yeah, do send them in, let me know, and join in the conversation. There was something on Club News, and I can't actually remember what it was. I didn't write it down. Something happened today, I think, but never mind. But let's get into the match. So something we're not used to over the years, but we're going to have to start getting used to it. 7 changes. What did you think, Sarah? Are you already used to this, to the starting lineup chopping and changing, or are you still a little up here going, hang on, I didn't see any of that coming?
Well, no, I'm expecting it now. Every game I'm expecting a completely different lineup from the last one. It's great. So I can't even be bothered to guess what the lineup's going to be anymore, because I know it's going to be wrong. And I think that's part of Steve Morrison's approach. He's like the anti-Matt Gray in a way. He's like, goes out of his way not to be predictable. Whereas with Matt, you knew it again, didn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I tweeted out when I did the lineup, and I looked and I was like, this is possibly the first time I can really ever just remember that every single player on the bench you could argue for being in the team. Obviously, we've not seen Jack yet. It's Jack Sims. But you could almost argue for every single player starting over someone who was already in the team, and feel that this hasn't changed or weakened the side at all. But Joe, what were your thoughts at the lineup? Were you expecting the many changes, or?
I mean, it's a busy, very busy 9 days. 4 games in 9 days is ridiculous, to be honest. But that's not the question, is it? Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I thought Jack Sims might come in, but I'm starting to see that he's probably maybe gonna. I reckon Arnie will start the season, take up most of it, and I think Sims is a more long-term signing, taking over just as that number one keeper. I think one thing about this squad is, apart from poor old Jay Williams, every player, I think, and not just because I haven't seen Jay Williams, he's never played, he's not on the bench. Every other player, I think, merits a place in that starting 11 on their day. I think they are good enough, and I think there are players who have stood out, obviously, but I think obviously you're going to have to change things. I wasn't massively surprised because obviously, as Sarah said, it's been changing every week, but I think, if we play at our best, I think any team could go out and feel what Steve wants them to do, and that's a weird thing. It feels like, there's a way of playing, everyone knows what they want to do, and if we don't do it, we're a bit rubbish, but if we smash it and we do it, we're basically unplayable. And that's what we saw at points on Monday. We saw at points on Monday. When we weren't good, we were under the cosh, and the Eastleigh weren't outstanding, but we looked like we were struggling. When we were on it, Eastleigh were defending for their lives. And, that's the dominance is not something we've seen perhaps in kind of previous seasons.
No. Well, so were you, obviously it's early season, I keep saying this, but I mean, it's 10.86% of the season gone now. But were you expecting us to go for it, Eastleigh? Were you kind of thinking, well, a point would do? And how confident were you going into the fixture, Joe?
I think a point away from home is always a good result. That's my rule. And Steve said at the start of the season. I thought Eastleigh the pressure was on Eastleigh. They had been the top of the league, only team in the league to have 100% win rate. And I spoke to some Eastleigh fans, they said, we've won every game, but we haven't been convincing. We weren't convincing against Altrincham on the weekend. We've been good, but we haven't been like knock your socks off. And as much as I don't think we've been knock your socks off, I think against York and I think against Alty, we were pretty darn good. And I thought we would be the better team. I think we are the better team. And I know it's early and people keep telling me, but I do think we are, if on our day, we are the best team in the league, if you ask me. I know we haven't seen anyone. I think we are, on our day, when everyone's firing, we are the best team. Whether we can maintain that, because, it's not I'm not going to pick on Wealdstone here, but Wealdstone sitting deep and kind of inviting the pressure kind of thing. Our game is physical, it's very high intensity, and it must be dead tiring. I can imagine. And, there are points where it's going to falter and we're going to make mistakes. But I think, we should go into every match with the optimism that we can do this, because I think this group of players, there is no team in the league who I reasonably see there's not a chance of us getting anything from this game. Whereas, in previous seasons, they would get some games, Stockport, stuff like that. I just think, if we get away with a point, it'd be a great day.
Yeah. I mean, Sarah, on that, how are you? Because I did say at the start of the season, all I want to be able to do this year is go into games with the hope, expectation we're going to get something, not a loss. Are you kind of switched around to, oh, you know what, we got a good chance here, or I expect to win? Obviously, we're Sutton fans, we can't really go around saying we expect to win. But how are you sort of feeling going into these games?
Oh, definitely. I think, like Joe said, we've got potential to beat anyone on our day. I don't want to say we're the best team in the league because, obviously I haven't seen many teams in the league this season, let's face it, and people haven't really got into their stride yet. But one thing I really like about how this squad's been assembled is, I've said before, I like Steve Morrison's approach of going for sort of young and hungry players who've got something to prove. And that really does give us that advantage. If they're really going for it, they don't tire easily. They've got that kind of energy about them. And the way the dynamics of that squad, the way they work together, there's a lot of that about it as well. So it feels really nice. I mean, being able to go to games, as a stark contrast from last season, being able to go to games expecting to get something out of it. And, I've never really liked going to Eastleigh, to be quite honest. But I'm not going to be someone who says, oh, we've got such a terrible record at such and such a ground, because this squad is new. They haven't played together before. They've never played for Sutton at Eastleigh before. So that record is completely irrelevant. It's just in our heads as fans, isn't it?
I'm I'm not sure it was just because of the record people don't like going to Eastleigh.
No, it's not. It's also they
It's a
charge
weird
£10 to park your
stadium.
car there.
It's a weird stadium. There's a cemetery on the way in, which just threw me off completely. I'm like, is that an intimidation tactic? I was just a bit confused.
Well, no, but what it is, it's making the away fans walk all the way around the ground, past all the shiny stuff. If you haven't got your ticket in advance, you've got to go to the club shop, which is really professional looking, really swish.
It's a lovely club shop, to be fair.
Isn't it? And then you go all the way around, and it's like you've got like a little shack, and that's the toilets, and you're like, oh, that's us, is it?
Lovely.
Not throwing shade on Eastleigh or anything, except
No.
I am. But no, I did feel a little bit kind of apprehensive. You know, we hadn't lost yet, but Eastleigh have won every game so far. They were the home side. But then, like Joe was saying, looking at the results so far, I mean, we beat Altrincham 5-0, they beat Altrincham 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it always depends what you get on the day.
Yeah.
You never know. You know, your record so far doesn't necessarily tell you exactly how a game's going to go. There's so many variables at play, but they're not invincible. They're not. I always remember what Steve Morrison said about, I think it was his first game in charge. It's not Brazil, it's Barrow.
Yeah.
We could beat. They're at our level. So don't be scared of anyone. That's what I say.
Fair enough. So as mentioned, I wasn't at the game or even got a chance to watch it back yet. But we took a nice early lead with Edino's goal. I've watched it, obviously, but I was more impressed with the Meany cam.
What a video that is.
John Meany's jumping up and down at the goal. Then he says, who scored it? I didn't see. And someone said Vaz. And he suddenly goes, oh, he meant it. So hang on a minute. You said a minute ago you didn't see it. How can you tell he meant it or not? That's outrageous. But Sarah, how was the goal for you? I mean, did you have a good glimpse of it? Did you see it properly, or did you watch it back on the
No, I went mental. I was like, yeah, that was the moment when I thought, oh, we're going to get something out of this game. This is going to be brilliant. But no, it was lovely. It was lovely. And to be fair, their equaliser was a pretty well taken one as well. But that was such a nice goal. And actually, I think Eddie looked pretty good for the whole game. So I was, you know, I loved it. It was such a good moment, honestly. Scoring at Eastleigh, going ahead, nice.
We've done all right with our left backs already this season, haven't we?
Yeah.
A couple goals
we've
got
some ridiculous left backs.
Yeah. But Joe, how was the goal from you? I haven't heard your professional dream yet.
I think I said Edwino Vaz, then put the mic away and started celebrating, but I couldn't celebrate too loud because the comms box is in the Eastleigh home end. Yeah. So I was right behind it because I know you.
So you should have celebrated loud then.
Yeah, I know all the away fans were on the other side, but from my side, you couldn't have hit a more perfect strike if you could. You could tell he meant it. It curled. It was just perfect in the top left-hand corner. And I was initially, because the keeper do better, I was like, not really. It's about as good as you can get. Yeah, very happy for him. We started off like we were going to put 5 past them like Altrincham. We were really good. Very happy for Duino, we've got a bit of a problem with. Well, not a problem, a very nice problem to have. We've got 2 very good left backs who both offer different things. Probably Charlie Waller slightly more security at the back, but also has the crossing and also has the box presence in the in the middle with his goal against Wealdstone. But then we've got Edwino, who, when we're coming forward, is like we've got 2 left wingers, and Coley can cut inside like he did the weekend. So we've got such a nice problem to have, and Charlie can play in central defence. But then we've got Tyler and Harry, and we've got a great back line. We maybe need a right back because I know Jacko is, not to bring it up, but he's getting there. He's getting on a bit, and we don't. Tyler French is a very good defender, but he's not an out-and-out right back at all. And that was shown a few times, perhaps on the right-hand side on Monday, just because, he's a centre-back by trade. And when the likes of Tyree Shade, who is probably one of the quickest players in the league, are running at him, you've got to take one for the team. And, we got a yellow card early, and that meant it was a little bit more shaky than it needed to be. But, great goal for Edwino. It started off well, and after the goal, the important thing was we didn't relent. We kept going.
You mentioned Josh Coley there. He's like a different player this season.
Josh Coley.
Mike.
Josh Coley.
I didn't hear you until like halfway through the sentence. He's really can't. I think maybe he's found his level, or maybe it was the team he was playing in before, or maybe something about having a different manager getting more out of him. But it's like a new find, isn't it? The way he's just incredible this season, isn't he?
He's excellent. Under Steve last season, he was very good as well. I don't think he really suited Matt's system massively.
No, he didn't, did he?
He's not really a defensive winger, and I think Matt likes his wingers to track back. And I think Josh Coley's more, let me run at him, and normally gets past because he's that, and he's got the final product as well. And if he could have scored 2 on Monday, just with blocks and just slightly better finishing.
And when he scores, they're excellent goals as well, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're very good.
I did have a moan at him, if you want, because when it was his birthday, I was trying to find a picture to use of him, and all the good celebration pictures, his back was to Paul. So I was like, could you do us a favour? Could you Paul, can you just head towards him when you score, please? And on Saturday he did. Saturday he did. And I was like, there we go, that's the one. He's like, yeah, I started looking for him now. So hopefully we'll see some more of those as well. But yeah, you're quite right. He's a confidence player, and it took him a little while to get going under Steve, but he did. And I'm all for it. Big fan. But you mentioned we kept going for it, Joe. Was it a defending from the front? Was it a defensive situation for that rest of that first half, or could we have gone in 2-0 up? I know it ended up being 1-1, but could we have taken another goal in that first half?
Yes, definitely. On another day, we're 2-3 up, just with a bit of luck, bit of non-deflections, bit slightly better finishing. I don't think it was necessarily the press like we saw at the likes of York and Alty. I think it was more the midfield performance. We were so strong at keeping the ball in from the start till about the 30th minute. Barbrook, Wadham, Rush before he got injured, Vaz and French pushing up. They might tackle us, or we put a corner in and they'd head it away, but they couldn't get into our half, and we just kept the ball excellently. We was Sidge was really strong in the tackle. They couldn't, and the only chances they had were on the counter. They had one very good left back, Jake Brokins, who had the capability for a defence splitting ball, just like an outrageous one out of nowhere. But other than that, we were the midfield performance and just squeezing them and not giving them a time, because they were playing a 5-back, which basically meant that they only had two central midfielders, which when we have 3 and then Rush and Coley dropping inside, 5 versus 2 or 3 isn't really going to work for them. Yeah. So, I think, it's a shame about the goal. We'll talk about that, but yeah.
In just a sec. So, first of all, thank you, because you did start that question off with yes, and I thought, please don't leave it there. Let's expand upon that answer. But Sarah, were you worried? I mean, Joe mentioned we had a few chances. Were you kind of worried that we're going to rue the chances, or is it just we're on top? It's going to come soon.
No.
Don't start.
No. I there were some hairy moments during that game, but I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried until the last 5 minutes, which I'm sure you're going to get to. Oh, well, you haven't watched it back though, have you?
No, I've heard
you
about
don't know
it.
About that last few minutes. No, I forgot what the question was now, because I was too busy playing silly buggers, wasn't I? What's the question again?
Were you worried about the chances we missed?
Not especially, because I think what I like about this team is we seem to learn from things like that. So yeah, we did create a lot of chances. We did miss a few, but I think there's not there doesn't seem to be any sort of trends in that. So once stuff like that happens, it doesn't keep on happening over and over and over. Yeah. I think we're a squad of players who are maybe don't have the most experience, but they're getting that experience, and they are. You can even see the team growing. Yeah. With every game, you can see they're getting closer and closer knit and reading each other better and better. So no, I'm not worried about it. I think the best is yet to come. We've not seen nothing yet.
So the equaliser. Now I've been told various different things on this. Hint of offside was there, Sarah? Not for his actual goal, but I think the ball coming to him, the person receiving the ball to pass it on to him. Someone saying he was offside.
Yeah, a couple of people have said that. I didn't get the best view of it, but I don't think it was. From what I saw, it didn't look it to me. But, like I said, I didn't have the best view of it from where I was.
And was it Was it coming? Was it a good goal? Or
it was well taken. It was crisp. It was a very crispy taken goal.
No.
I had no arguments with it. I just turned to my mate and I went, I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Joe? I mean, what did you think of the goal? And do you get to watch the replays back straight away, or?
Well, I watched the replay back, not for just fun. I was looking at different things just for purpose, but it wasn't offside. I had a very good view of it. I think it's tight, but I don't think it's clear-cut offside. If I'm honest, I've watched it back a few times. It's a bit of a lapse in judgment from us. We switch off in the middle. He's completely unmarked. Now he is the top scorer in I believe the National League last year. He's like 3 goals this game, 3 goals this season already. A very good striker, Paul McCallum. I think it's Harry Ransom. He's just left, and if he does make the challenge, it's too late. But we just didn't defend the cross well enough, to be honest. They came forward all of a sudden, and it came from a string of yellow cards for us: Jack Wadham and Tyler French, and then I can't remember. And we just started to get a little bit not ragged, but in terms of kind of discipline, a little bit off it, and then that allowed them back into the game because then that gave them the chance. And then that's when I was a bit nervous because after that goal, they've continued it. And then there was the whole, you obviously did it. It was a bit of a to-do in the middle of the park with the captain for them, Taylor and Barbrook, which somehow Ashley Naderson got a yellow card for, which I had to, as much as it's a Sutton commentary, I had to not, be too outraged because Finley Barbrook got pushed to the floor. Naderson came steaming in. And the fact that the one who pushed Barbrook to the floor in the face didn't get a yellow. I mean, it just made no sense to me. It was that. It was just a bit poor defending, but well taken goal from a guy who is a clinical striker. They took a chance, and they didn't have many, and they had probably 2 or 3 big chances, and they took the one, and we had more than that, and we didn't take it. That's it, really.
The yellow card is probably for the. Being the aggressor in running over to it, and they don't like that at all. So second half, I was out, so I didn't see an awful lot, and there wasn't a lot mentioned other than the last few minutes. So, Sarah, was there anything chat-worthy that happened before the last few minutes, or do you want to just jump straight to the last few?
Let's go the last few minutes.
Go on, then.
It was a decent game all the way through. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. It was a good. Yeah. It was worlds away from the 1-1 at Tamworth.
Yeah,
it was the same scoreline, completely different game.
End to end, very end to end.
Absolutely, yeah. It was great entertainment. But yeah, it was really the last few minutes that sticks out.
Go on and talk us through the last few for anyone who's not there.
It was goodness me, you couldn't relax. So we've been going forward quite confidently most of the game, and then Eastleigh didn't have that many chances. But what it was. They look good. They look really good side. You could tell why they're top of the league. But I felt quite confident that we were going to hold on until those last few minutes. And it was just, I can't remember what happened first now, but they had several attempts on goal. They hit the crossbar. How many times did they hit the woodwork, Joe? Was it twice? Eastleigh.
They only hit it once.
They only hit it once. Steve Arnold made a really good save. They had about 3 corners on the trot.
Oh, that was horrible.
It was terrifying. He was sitting there going, no. Referee, blow the whistle, please blow the whistle. And he did in the end, thank goodness. But yeah, it was not fun to watch as a Sutton fan.
No.
But it's always great seeing Steve Arnold make a fantastic save, and it's great seeing our defence getting stuck in. And hats off to the lot of them. Yeah. But I was scared.
I mean, where you said earlier, they seem to be growing as a team. Coping with that kind of pressure in the last few minutes, very much shows that. But Joe, how was
definitely seen some sides that would have capitulated to that pressure.
Yeah,
definitely. Not too long ago.
Yeah. Joe, how was that last few for you?
Well, then it came the other way in the last 2 minutes. we went up the other. They had a huge chance where their left back put it across our goal, and literally Steve Arnold was completely no man's land. And if anyone was on the end of it, they had an open goal, and no one chose it. And then I can't remember what happened. Then Steve Arnold did the best kick of his life and basically got it into their penalty area, and we got a corner from a deflection from Tyler French. And we got 3 corners. We hit the crossbar with one. Well, Jane Harris pulled off some acrobatics to hit the crossbar from about 2 yards out, and I don't know how he did that. Then Charlie Waller made a brilliant header, basically not even jumping off the ground, and the keeper got up from diving for Harris's effort and got a finger over the bar. Then we had another corner. That next corner was then flicked on by Hayden Muller, and Will Davis was at the near post and was literally 3 yards out, and an Eastleigh defender got their knee in the way. So then we had another corner, and then we had another corner, and I want to say, I can't remember, I think it was Will Davis again, hit the crossbar with a header, and it just went over. And I think there's, if you look back at the commentary, there'll be a considerable pause of me just being like, I don't know how the ball went in. Wasn't it? I don't remember how we didn't. I don't actually understand how we didn't get in the net, because on another day,
that was even
those
worse,
3 chances, you scored 3. Yeah, it was just horrible.
That was even worse. The bit that where Eastleigh were really going for us, and we were like, oh no, please don't score, and then it comes down the other end.
Yeah, the Eastleigh home end. That
would have been even worse for them.
On absolute tenterhooks. The guy next to me was losing his mind.
In a way, it was almost worse to watch, because it's like, why aren't we scoring? Why is the score gone in? So it was almost the exact opposite. So it's like we got a taste of our own medicine there, didn't we?
Yeah, it is. But I think one thing which I've seen a lot of Sutton fans I want to touch on, Will Davis. A lot of people, I can't remember who it was, but people were saying we need that 15, 20 goal a season striker. We need all this. I'm like, I don't think we do. I think Will Davis is a pretty darn good striker. He holds the ball up well. He's got a good pass on him, and he's good on one-on-ones, and he's got a brilliant header. And I think, it's not realistic for us to get a 15, 20 goal a season striker. When you've got the likes of Coley, Boateng, who can beat basically it, both of them can take on anyone. Jeremy Sivvy can beat his man. Only problem is he can't really finish, because he almost blasted the ball out of the stadium and 2 minutes to go. That's a good point. But then you've got an excellent. But I do think, obviously, I think the likes of Harris, Waller, Vaz, Arnold, French, there are some people who will get more of the plaudits for these first 5 games. But I think Will Davis has to, because he came on, Matt Rush yet to find his impact, although some fan on Twitter started having a go at me saying, you're playing a quality forward like Rush. And I said, well, considering that, and he said, oh, well, in commentary, he's the only one I can hear. And I said, considering I'm the one doing the commentary and going to the games and you're not, I can tell you he's not been great so far. But, I think when he hits his form, I think he'll be very good. His scoring record is very, he wasn't great last season, but if you're looking back, he used to play for, I think it was Leiston. He had 53 goals in something like 90 appearances. Really impressive. So I think you've just got to give him time, because I think he is a very good number 9. You just got to, let him do what he needs to do. Yeah. Don't put him pressure.
But overall, I mean, it does seem split on the opinions of whether we should have won that at the end, or is it a good away point? What were your thoughts, Sarah? Good away point, or we should have won it?
You really can't argue with a point away against a side that's won every game for the entire season, even though it was only 4 games in. But you still can't argue with that. No. And they are a very good team. You can't deny that. It was a good match. Arguably, we should have nicked that goal at the end there. But then a few minutes earlier, they could have done the same. So, it's not an unfair result. And I'm actually pretty happy with it. So, I'm going, yeah.
Fair enough. Joe, what do you reckon?
We were the better team. Eastleigh fans all around me were cheering like they, won the cup with Brazil. I think a point's good. I think we should have had more. I think I'm happy with the point, but I think the performance and the chances we had merited the win.
Okay, so it leads me on to this question. 2 matches over bank holiday and 2 draws. So had we lost one and won one, we'd be a point better off. But is it better to have the 2 draws and be unbeaten, or would it be better off with the extra point? Because I've looked it up, and the extra point would have given York. So if we'd lost to York, they would have 10 points, and we'd have 10 points. And if we'd lost to Eastleigh, they'd have 15 points. Probably we would have stayed third, to be fair. So what's your opinion? Is it better to have the points on the board at this stage, or is it better at this stage to have the momentum of not losing? Joe, we'll go with you first.
That question.
Momentum. Easy.
Yeah, okay.
Very easily momentum.
Fair enough. Sarah, you're nodding along.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. I mean, having 1 point more at this point in the season doesn't mean much. And obviously, at the other end of the season,
it's the
games at this end do mean as much as the ones at that end. But there's also quite a lot of psychology at play here.
Yeah.
And I think the momentum at this point of the season, you're getting going, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're pushing into it, and the longer you stay unbeaten, the better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there working it out, going, but if we'd lost to one of those, we wouldn't have been any better off because we'd have been in the same position. I know table, I always say it, table doesn't mean anything now, but yeah, it's a difficult one. But what did you think of Steve's comment, which I was quite pleased with actually, in his post-match, where he said the way we play, we are going to leave ourselves open and we are going to concede goals. Basically, you're going to have to get on with this because to us, the priority is scoring and attacking, which means we're going to leave gaps. Sarah, we'll go with you first because I think Joe just drew a breath. So we'll go with you first, Sarah. What did you think of that?
I think it's refreshingly honest, to be honest. You know, I think, saying to fans, this is what you got to expect from us. I quite like that because it shows that he recognises the flaws in whatever approach he's taking. And if you recognise them, then you know what you're working on, don't you? And exactly. He's not going to sit there and pretend that this team's completely infallible. Because it's not. No football team is. We are going to concede goals. If we never conceded a goal, it'll get a bit boring, actually. So no, I respect that.
Fair enough. Joe, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think I really like Steve Morrison's honesty when it comes to him, his tactics, the way he is. He's unapologetically himself, and I'm a massive fan of it. I think it's a change from Matt, obviously. I think Matt was a brilliant servant for the club, but he's, if he's messed up, he'll say it. If he doesn't think he'll messed up, he'll say it. If he's annoyed, he'll say it. If he's happy, he'll say it. If he wants to take the mick, he'll say it. I like it. I think it's very straight talking. It's clear what he thinks. And I think we will leave gaps, but I think we're good enough to make up for it. I think, we've got a very, very good team, and, I think he knows that. I think he knows he's got a great set of players, and I think he's just enjoying it. And I think he knows the best is yet to come.
Let's get the business head on. Who are fans going to come and see? Games that end in 3-2s, 4-3s, 6-5s, or are they going to come and watch 1-0s, 0-0s? So yeah, you can kind of put up, if you're putting up an effort and you're losing some games because you're attacking, I think all of us go, all right, fair enough. I mean, obviously, as Sarah said, we'd love to win every single game and never concede a goal, but it's just not going to happen. I did see one comment from an Eastleigh fan who was basically saying that Sutton are a great team. You can tell they've got great players, and they've just been relegated from League Two. You tell the players are a cut above and all the rest of it. And I was like, yeah, most of them from the division below, but that is actually a really nice thing to say. And he said it's some of the best football we've seen down at Silver Lake for a long, long time. So oh, okay, that's nice. We're going to move on, and the good, the bad, and the funny on the day. So another clip, Joe.
Oh, no.
So it's anything about the match day. For you first, Joe. Well, first of all, what do you think of that, Joe? Hey, that's good, that one. I get
smile. I'm just going to smile at you.
Yeah, I get copyrighted for these things on that one. The Apple one, they just let go because they're like, yeah, no one's claiming that. But what was good about the day?
What was good? Sutton fans were very good. I wasn't in the away end, but we were loud. What else was good? I'm trying to think. Yeah, do you know what I did like? I can't remember what it was. I like the fourth officials board.
All right, okay.
Really specific, but it looked very old school. And you know, I was making a comment commentary a few weeks prior that the one at Welling and the one at, I want to say, Tamworth was very mini iPad-like.
Yeah.
This one was, you know, the numbers were really crystal clear, and the like neon bright green and red, which pleased me a lot, considering I couldn't really see it at Altrincham, even though, you know, it's a good one at home, but it was just, I appreciated the Eastleigh or the Hampshire FA's fourth officials board. So, you know, Sarah, if you're listening, keep going.
Sarah, what was good for you?
The football was good. It was a really good game. I enjoyed that part of the experience. And they've got a nice big scoreboard there, so when we were winning, it said so very big.
Very nice. Now, what was bad, Sarah? Again, it's the whole day. It can be anything you like. I mean, try not to do Neil moaning about the M4 or some various junction somewhere, but what was bad about the day?
Well, Eastleigh charged £10 for parking, and then you're not allowed to leave for however long after the game ends for safety reasons. Safety reasons I can get behind, but they're thieving so-and-so. I didn't use the car park. I'm going to say that now. I would refuse if they're going to charge £10.
Yeah, and hold you hostage as well. Joe, what was bad for you?
What was bad? Not much was bad. Trying to think. The
cemetery, if you want.
No. So I was going on the coach. The players get a massive order of Domino's after every game. A massive order, like 15 to 16 pizzas. Probably 18, one for each of them. And I was so hungry because I had not eaten. I ate a sandwich in the morning, and I just watched, I think it was Anthony Fenton, just walk onto the players' coach with like this much Domino's pizza. And then I think Steve Morrison came on. There was a massive cheer from the bus. I think he just opened the pizza and started tucking into it. And I was like, this is adding insult to injury, because all I had was gum, and I was just sat there on the way home thinking about that Domino's. So that, you know, it's not very bad, but you know, it's
Joe, my motherly instinct has kicked in, and I want to feed you now.
I'm going to make some sandwiches. Little snack pack. No, what was funny about the day? I mean, the pizza story is quite funny to me because I wasn't starving. But what was funny about it?
What was funny? I did find quite funny was in the melee of the last 5 minutes. I forgot. I just could, as commentating, I think I was tired already. I just couldn't seem to get right teams. So I was like, it's a Sutton. No, it's an Eastleigh goal kick. And then I'd be like, Sutton coming forward. And I was like, no one's coming forward. The ball's out for a throw. But I couldn't quite believe what had happened at the other end. And then we were at corner. And then I think there was I think when Jaden Harris hit the crossbar, I think I made an involuntary squeal. And then Waller saved it, and I was like, "How did he save that?" And I was like, "Oh, so sorry." Charlie Waller just made a brilliant header, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. But yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be able to do it because it would just be a string of more and more creative expletives. So people would get an education, but possibly
the wrong education.
Broadcastable. Sarah, what was funny for you?
I don't know. I thought about this. I couldn't think of anything funny. Sorry?
Seeing all the players with pizza.
I didn't see that. I would have found that quite funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite funny that I can't swear, so obviously I can't swear on the podcast. You can. So I can't. Can I swear? Yeah. Can I swear on the podcast? Well, ever since last season, I don't know. I wasn't sure. You know, it's always good to try and be polite. I was saying at the end of last season, I'm really looking forward to all the Football League and You Fucked It Up chants we're going to hear this season. Yeah. I was quite surprised we got this far into the season without hearing it. I really wasn't surprised that it was the Eastleigh kids who did the first one. So thanks for that, Eastleigh. It's hilarious.
I know one of the Eastleigh lot, and he said we're bringing out that chant in the morning. I was like, oh, our fans will love that.
Yeah.
Not so predictable.
At least we were there. So talking of opposition fans, it's going to move on very quickly to the Free Q opposition preview. I think I called it. I can't remember what I called it. But anyway, there's going to be a video, and it's Sean Paul who answered some questions on the match for Saturday. Okay, so now we're going to go for our infamous, whichever you prefer, Free Q preview, and we're going to get insights from our upcoming opponents. And today we're joined by Sean Paul, who is a Forest Green fan, and we're going to find out a little bit more about them and hear what they've got to say. Jean-Paul, thank you for joining me and stepping in at late notice.
Yeah, no problem.
Dylan was down to do this, and then he promptly remembered last minute he was on holiday. So I had to scramble around. So thank you very much for answering the call. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your history, if you like, supporting Forest Green?
Yeah, so I'm 18 now, and I've been watching Forest Green for quite a while, since I was young, but only really started following them for about 4 years ago. And we just so happened to win the league the same year I started following us. So that was quite nice. And then only missed 2 games in League One and didn't see an away win. Missed 3 games in League Two, only seen 2 away wins. So it's not been great other than the promotion winning campaign, but hopefully that can change this year.
Yeah, it sounds like they suck you in with a nice, hey, look, isn't it great? We get promoted. Isn't everything wonderful? And now we're going to hit you with double relegation.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah.
Well, there are teams, or there was a team, I think Rochdale was something in League Two for something like 30 odd years without moving one way or the other. Something to play for at least.
Yeah.
So what were your expectations prior to this season? I mean, obviously you've just come off the back of 2 difficult seasons, some difficult managerial choices, I guess, and various different things going on. But you started to stabilise towards the end of last season, just as we did as well. But we both ended up not doing enough in the end. But what were your expectations for this season, and how's it going so far, 5 games in?
Well, going back to your previous question, because I'd quite like to address it. So, yeah, we had a few dodgy managers. We had Horseman, and then he brought in a few good players, Fankati Dabo and Dini, and the results just weren't really there. Sometimes we saw some decent football. I mean, Dini put up a one-man show against Notts County with a hat-trick in a 4-3 loss, and a win 5-0 against Colchester was very good. And then we had Dini in, who didn't win a game in 6. But the fans still liked him, I think, more because of the character than the managerial prowess. And then Cottrell come in, and everyone was happy because that's the sort of manager we've been asking for the last few years. Somebody who's experienced. I think it was something like 7 wins in 14 or something like that, So he tried to work a miracle, but with Stockport County twice, Wrexham twice, I think, it was a feat a bit too big for us. And now we're probably where we belong, but it's all right. And the first 5 games, tried his shot, went 2-0 down, but it's nice to see the lads fight back and go 3-2 up. Obviously, end up conceding at the last. A strong performance with Boston, winning 4-0, but at the end of the day, it's Boston. And then Barnet on Tuesday night, meant to be the 2 favourites for the league, got a red card in the 70th minute, but didn't really look strong anyway. Tired legs, hits on the break, scored in the last minute. And then the most recent home game was a nice last-minute winner from Charlie McCann, which was a big relief because we wouldn't want to drop points there.
Yeah. So you've got 2-2 and a 1, isn't it? 2 wins, 2
yeah.
Yes,
indeed. Yeah. Obviously, 0-0 to Rochdale. I missed out because
I think
less said of it, the better. Pretty boring.
I mean, obviously, the table doesn't mean much at 5 games. So I think you're 6th at the moment. So, kind of, is that where you guys
were? Indeed. You're using 4th, aren't you?
With 3rd or 4th. Yeah, I honestly don't really look at it at this early. I mean, if we were top, obviously, I'd be looking at it. But anything else, I'm
start
not.
Start looking at it after 10 games, don't you?
Exactly. That's exactly. They never used to even print them until 10 games. So,
no.
But is that roughly where you see yourselves this season, in and around the playoffs?
No.
Or are you just looking for a bit of stability and?
See, no, maybe a bit bold, but I do think anything other than promotion is a failure. With the signings we've made, we've brought in Jed Ward from Bristol Rovers, who's had experience. He's experienced, had a few minutes in League One, and then we've got Ben Tozzi now. Christ, been around the block, hasn't he? So he knows what it's all about. Sean Long from Cheltenham, a season in League One last year. So I think he's more than good enough to play at the National League. Liam Serkin with the halfway line against Boston, and Cheltenham Player of the Year last year. Doige, played in the Scottish Premiership last year. So I think we've got a great side. So everything's set up for us to do well.
Good. I mean, you kind of touched on the next one, but so what are your strengths and weaknesses, and who are we looking out for?
Well, other than the 3-3 against Aldershot, we haven't conceded more than one goal in any game. I know we haven't played the strongest opposition, but Barnet and Rochdale are pretty good. Innes and Tozer at the back are very strong, and I feel like if McAllister's playing, him with Doidge is very, it's very good. I feel like Doidge is very clinical, 5 and 6, and McAllister's very direct. So I'd like to see both of them playing, but McAllister did pick up an injury on Saturday, so I don't know if he's going to play.
So how do you see it going against Sutton? What kind of match are you expecting?
Well, I think it'll be even, just like it was last time we came. You know, scored a pop shot from outside the box, but there weren't really a lot in it, was there, if you do remember rightly? We
were on a terrible run at that point, I think.
Yeah, it was a game we had to win, and we won it in like the 70th minute or something. Yeah, I'm excited to travel down. I remember it being quite good. It'll be a good day out with the late kickoff. Gives us plenty of time to travel. So I'm excited. I think I wouldn't be surprised for a 1-1 draw, though. You know, both teams very evenly matched, good sides. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, that was the final bonus trick question, the 1-1 draw. But
I saw it on the email.
But thank you so much. It did go on, but then my microphone went, so I just thought, that will end up cutting it. It seems abrupt. You're both on mute, but Joe, what did you think of what he was saying? Do you kind of agree it's going to be a tight game? I did look back, and I think that most of the other games we've played has been 1-1 or 1 goal in it.
Yeah, well, I think, I don't know, I think it'll be close. I think they're an older side a little bit. Likes of Tozer, I think, likes of Boating and Cody could cause problems. I'm not a massive fan of him reminding me of that 1-0 win at our place, because that was honestly one of the worst games of football I've ever watched. But yeah, I think it'll be close. We should have a full strength team. We're starting to see what that's like. Hopefully, Muller, French, Jacko, and then whoever, Waller or Vaz, and then Harris, Simper, and I'd probably say Sidge for now, and then Coley, Boating, and Davis. But I think, we, again, like I said earlier, if we're on our day, I think it could be a good day. If we're, at the races but not smashing out the park, I think it will be close. If we're not at the races, they're a very good team. I don't expect them to, mess about, and they will do a professional job on us. We're both in the same position. We have both gone down. We both are tipped to do very well this season with the squads we've got. They know, I don't think they're York fans. They're not the most raucous and probably won't bring as many, but, atmosphere should still be good. Obviously streamed on his own, so that'll be bringing a new set of viewers, but hopefully I don't see any reason why we can't get a result.
Yep. When he was talking about the last game, he said, last time we beat you in the 70, I was like, well, hang on, I was thinking that's not the last time, because last time Josh Cody scored a great goal in your place. But
yeah, doesn't want to remember that one.
Yeah, no. Sarah, what did you think of his thoughts on how the game's going to go? I mean, one thing's for sure, it's going to be tight, but I think I've worked out it's probably our turn to win, because we seem to be taking turns, or a loss and a draw. I think we had one season, so we should do that this year.
Well, he did have a lovely accent, didn't he?
He did. Where is Forest Green?
I wasn't listening to what he was saying. I was just listening to his accent. No, that's a joke. I was listening to what he was saying. I can't argue with, it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be tough. It's definitely, they're not going to be a pushover, are they? But one thing I really like about our side is they are really hungry for it. And they've got a couple of draws. They want to win now, don't they? Mm-hmm. They really want to win. So I think it has a potential to be a really good game. I'll say that it's going to be boring, isn't it? It's going to be 0-0.
Yeah.
I think we're going to nick it.
Yeah.
Tight game, but we'll nick it. Go on. Let's do it.
Well, we'll do predictions in a second. But yeah, a big thank you to Sean Paul, because he even stepped in more last minute than you. Because as I said, I had someone lined up and sort of messaged him, go, right, we'll do it this time. And he went, oh, no, I'm about to step on a plane. Sorry.
Didn't you know it was going to be on a plane?
I'm sure we did this months ago. But yeah, he kind of agreed to come on at 7 o'clock, and he was recording at about 9 o'clock at night after his football training. So the poor bloke was knackered. So thank you very much again, Sean Paul, if you listen back. But Joe, you haven't done many of these.
I keep meaning to. I keep forgetting.
Well, don't forget. But what's your prediction? Obviously, this isn't entering, so if you do want to enter, make sure you do. But Pessimistic PC, I wonder who that could be, is weighing it out at the front at the moment. He's doing very well. I think, can't see it, but he's actually got every outcome correctly. So he's got all the wins and draws correct so far. So it's going to be a little while to catch him, but it's 8 points a game. But Joe, what do you think of the prediction? What do you reckon it's going to be?
2-0 us.
2-0
us and Nana Boateng and Will Davis.
Okay, very good. Sarah, I know you don't join in the prediction league, but that's fine. What's your prediction for now? I mean, I say it's fine, but
I'll go with 2-1 win. Because I want to be optimistic.
Okay, well, I'm doing 2-1. I always do 2-1 until we actually win it.
You always do a 2-1 or 1-1 or 1-0. Okay.
I'm doing 2-1 simply because I keep explaining this is the most popular scoreline in football, and it's got to be.
I was going to say it's a common scoreline. So
when have we won 2-1 this season?
I don't know, Joe, and I've got 60 wrong in a row, so I'm not holding out an awful lot of hope for 2-1.
Just because we haven't won 2-1 yet doesn't mean it can't happen.
Exactly.
When was the last time we won 2-1?
Don't be asked.
I don't know. It was against Forest Green.
Yeah, probably 3 years ago against Forest Green. But yeah, I'm going 2-1. Player, I don't know. I may. Just if anyone is listening, when the team news comes out, if you do want to put another entry in, you can do. It's the latest entry that will count. So I would recommend just entering in the competition, anything, and then when the team comes out, maybe changing your mind and putting the actual player to score. But I'm going to say Josh at this early stage, but obviously I need to see if he's starting or not. But we're going to wrap up this episode. As always, we appreciate your attention. And he's gone. I killed him. And your feedback. Follow, like, and share this episode at Sutton Podcast and all social medias. And you got your hand up.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I have a thing to say.
Okay, go on then.
So anyone listening, tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Oh no, it's supposed to be the 1st.
Well, it's changed now.
Yeah, okay.
4 p.m. tomorrow. Check my Twitter. I'm sure Mike will at me. And check Sutton United fan on Instagram and TikTok. Big things are coming. That's all I can say.
So just in case you're listening tomorrow, it's today, but we'll clarify. It's 29th.
The 29th.
29th. They're going to make an announcement. We'll see how good they are at the timings, because if it's an announcement like Sutton United, it'll be at like 10 o'clock at night or something. But yeah, do follow, like, and share, and follow Joe. Now he's the voice of Sutton United. Subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. We are back on Sunday with Chris and David. Get the questions sent in. And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Lucky Star Gin. Big thank you to today's panel, Sarah and Joe. And thanks for listening. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
United! United! United!